Hey yo, what is going on, guys? It is DJ Wacky and welcome to my first Apex Legend video onto my channel. I don't know why I never bothered making an Apex Legend video previously, because to be honest, I've been invested in this game since season 2, and more as time's gone on, I've been hitting this game up a lot more. In fact, since the start of season 5, I've been on this game every single day, and the experience is just getting greater and greater. Obviously, like any other community, it has been expanding. Of course, on YouTube, you can even witness that the viewer counts on Apex-related content has increased. There's, of course, it's cross-platform game, so you got it on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and I think Apex is standing out as a forefather for future gaming. Of course, it takes elements from PUBG and Fortnite, but I think it's got a lot more unique perspective to offer. The fan communities are, of course, is a lot more invested into the game as well. And despite it not having any single player campaign content, people know a lot about the Apex characters, their backstories, which you get from trailers or wiki articles, from storylines, etc. But again, the community is obviously invested into this game, despite it being just a multiplayer only game. So with that being said, guys, recently on a Reddit forum thread, I saw someone asking a question what they believed each individual Apex Legends nationalities were. Now, if any smart ass snowflakes comments on this video saying, well, we don't know what each individual nationalities are because the game's set in the future, so we can't say what countries they come from, please go ahead and shove your face into an oven, because I'm only making this, guys, for entertaining purposes. And of course, each individual legends have their unique personality, so we can go ahead and make a best guess estimate over there. Especially, I put a bit of research and time into this just to obviously go through each individual person. So if you have got some time, it would be massively appreciated if you can hit that like button, because it does help a small-time YouTuber like myself as well. So yeah, let's go ahead, check out each one of these legends, and I'll give you a reason why I think they come from these in particular nationalities. Right, guys, so firstly we got Bloodhound over here to kick it off with, and to be fair, Bloodhound obviously has a lot of, in particular, North mythological settings based around the characters. So you got the representation of Odin over there with the crow, obviously references to the Allfather as well. The fact that Bloodhound carries an axe as its heirloom, you can easily be forgiven if you were to think Bloodhound was a representative of the Viking Scandinavian descendant. However, I'm going to chuck in a curveball over here and actually say Bloodhound is Russian. Now, before all of you looking over here confused and about to rage onto my comment section, firstly, Vikings actually had a subgroup of people called Rus Vikings, which were the descendants of modern day Russia. So Rus Vikings had their own unique branch, and in particular they had two things that made them more unique. They had a hunting ceremony when it was a coming of age, and also they carried a small axe more often than the huge larger axes. And when you look into the old ways backstory with Bloodhound, these elements were involved into the in particular settings and themes. So this is why I would say Bloodhound is actually a Russian. Right, next off, guys, we've got Big Jibby himself, Gibraltar. Now, Gibraltar has, again, a lot of elements and themes based around a traditional culture, and that is mainly to do with the Pelasian Highlands. So this can also, the Pelasian Islands does cover a couple of ranges. So you got the Maori people over there, you got the native Hawaiian, and also the Samoan Islands as well. So out of them three, they do share a very, very similar ancestry. You got the whole hacker, you got the whole huge masculinity involved, the ancient warrior tribal culture as well. And Gibraltar does obviously carry a ancient tribal weapon as well when he does perform an execution. Obviously, he comes in with a bit of a hacker dance as well. So it's kind of hard to really pinpoint which in particular group he will belong to from the Pelasian Islands. However, I would like to say he's got a bit more of a Samoan accent, so I'm going to go with the Samoan culture. Now, this could obviously be just due to the voice actor having to go ahead and adapt into this sort of culture, but the New Zealand Maori culture does have a more particular unique accent, and I think this sort of accent is more recognizable on screen, so I'm going to say Samoan people. Right, guys, so next up we got the combat medic herself. One of the fan favorites, Lifeline. Now, with a recent buff and update, honestly, this character needs to be in everyone's team. I am absolutely incredibly enjoying using Lifeline as well. She's just got so much advantage just to her as well, and definitely needed in the team. However, not me praising her boots, she's also got one of the most unique accents on the game, and I do love her voice lines and some of the commentary that she brings onto the team. Of course, by her accent, it's easy to predict that she's from the West Indies Islands, but this is where I gotta be careful because the West Indies Islands does cover a huge amount of countries. You got Jamaica, you got Barbados, you got Trinidad and Tobago, etc. So now it's time to limit which in particular island she is from. And for my best guess estimate, guys, I am going to say Jamaica. Now, the reason why I'm just putting that out there is just because Jamaica is the most recognizable one. It's definitely translated a lot into modern day pop culture with movies, films, televisions, etc. And I think it's easy just to go ahead and put that flag onto her. Now, again, it is one of the difficult ones, but I think Lifeline does go with the West Indies / Jamaican background over there. Right, guys, so from one fan favorite to another, we have got the interdimensional spirit, Rafe. Now, I had to think twice for Rafe, to be honest, because I was obviously going for firstly based around the looks, given that she's got the white Caucasian skin tone. But then I looked at some of her skin, so she's got obviously the whole backstory with her being a test experiment carrying out from being a prisoner of war, held captive. And some of her legendary outfit does have the whole ninja assassin theme look to her. Now, also the other things that stood out for me was her frames. Now, in particular, one of these frames, they had the Japanese death mask and the whole pink flower theme around it as well, which is obviously to do with the theme of Japanese culture. But then this is where it kind of leaned me off, because obviously her skin tone is that of a white Caucasian background, but she also has black hair, which is a bit more unique. It's a rarity in when it comes to white people to have a black hair. Obviously, there are white people with black hair, not saying that, but blonde and brunette are the more heavily associated two colours, and ginger. Just had to point out there, just in case any ginger person got offended. But anyway, guys, you know, this is where I had to think twice. So even going through her quip wheels, there's no accent, there's nothing to do with the Japanese theme, which whilst Crypto does give away his Korean ancestry background, Rafe doesn't. So I'm more lenient to say Rafe is from an American background, and this is where I could even say maybe she is a mix. Perhaps she's got the ancestry of both Japanese and American people. However, also, one big point out was, of course, her name being Renee Blazey. That's her real name, and I think with that being said, it's more sounding towards her being an American character. But like I said, this one I'm a bit curious with. I want to actually hear your opinions on the comment section. Comment below what ancestry you think Rafe comes from. Right, guys, so next up we've got the combat soldier into the gameplay, Bangalore. Now, Officer Anita Williams is definitely standing out as one of the more easier ones for me to pick up her nationality. She has got the all American hero look to her. Obviously, her whole background ancestry is to do with being in the military as well. In terms of one of her new legendary skin as well, the Sky Marshal, I think that's to do with the whole pilot look in terms of when the World War II, World War I period in the American history. And again, one of the other things as well is, like I said, is her backstory. She is the youngest sister out of 4 brothers who all joined the military. Her family really respect and uphold the military route, which is a bit of a theme and I guess a national pride in terms of the American culture. They do respect their soldiers a lot, and obviously it's seen as an honourable duty. And I think Bangalore fits into that whole all-American action hero sort of category. But of course, the more unique thing about her, she is a woman, which is a great representation as well. She's coming from the African American background as well. In terms of her accent, I can't say whether she's from North America or South America. Honestly, that's a bit too hard for me to predict. I'm not American myself. Obviously, I'm British, and it's a bit more harder for me to pick up what exactly the accent's gonna be. But if anyone's from America and watching this, let me know what you guys think. Is she from North America, South America, Central, etc.? Go ahead, comment below. But one of the things is, like I said, I do think she's a great representation for the overall all-American look in the game. Right, guys, we've got another big guy in the game, Dr. Alexander Maxwell Knox, aka Caustic. Now, Caustic's a bit one of the more underappreciated characters, to be honest. I do enjoy his backstory as well, because he's kind of like an anti-hero, a bit of a sociopath. He's obviously in the games to carry out test experiments with his old nerve gas, etc. That's what he's mainly there for. But he does now have a bit of a soft spot for Rafe in the recent storyline. Looking into some of the Fed posts as well, a lot of people said that he's from a German background, which I'm not sure why, because the name itself, Alexander Maxwell, this is a very sort of British-based name. And then also looking at one of his poses as well, he's making a brew which is very stereotypical for British people. We do enjoy our cup of tea, but then again, it's the whole theme over there for me standing out that he's actually from a British background. But it is a bit a difficult one to obviously pick up on. I don't see any German accent into him. He has a more villainy sort of accent. He's obviously quite a dark character, and I think he's that stereotypical British villain, bad guy sort of being portrayed into the game. But like I said, there's nothing unique on the dialect to say that he's not from like an English speaking background. And I think with the name itself being Alexander Maxwell, I'm going to just wave the whole entire UK flag on him. So, yeah, let me know what you guys also think about Caustic. Do you think he is from Britain? Do you think he's from somewhere else? It's a bit hard this one to predict. But like I said, with him making a morning brew with his name as well, and giving the whole vibe to him, I'm definitely sticking a UK flag. Right, guys, so next up we have got my main Season 5 character. Ever since the upgrade, I have been enjoying using this fella, Elliot Arway, aka Mirage. Now, honestly, this guy has got a very unique backstory. I mean, not only does he come across as the funny guy, the bit of the trickster, the party animal of the group, he's definitely got obviously a caring side to him. He's with his mother having Alzheimer's, him talking to himself a lot. I think he's that most relatable character that we can have over here, and he does fit into the stereotypical American lads sort of theme area. Obviously, he's got that player personality. He's quite young. He's quite flamboyant. He's outgoing. He's got that charm to him as well. He's that representation of that stereotypical American jock that you see on screen. But again, one of the things, guys, is he's actually inspired from one of the video game developers who is actually from an Arab background. But given his skin tone, he looks like he's kind of mixed, maybe from a mixed black and white background. His name, of course, being Elliot, which is kind of a very official American name as well. And then, like I said, he fits that whole playboy image with him, and I think that's that stereotypical American portrayal of a young guy, or especially in modern day pop culture. So I'm going to give him the good old USA flag, but let me know what you guys think with Mirage as well. Next up, guys, we've got the high-speed devil, adrenaline junkie, Octavio Silva. Now, he's probably one of the more easier characters to guess up over here, because the whole him having that thick Latino American accent, incorporation of Spanish word, and then even at the same time we can see from his legendary skin, he's got the El Diablo mask, which is obviously a representation of the Lucha Libre Wrestling Foundation or groups that is to do with Mexican wrestling. I think it's easy to say that Octane is definitely from a Mexican background. It goes shout out to the Latino culture as well. To be honest, there's not many Latino people in England, but I think the Latino culture is obviously quite spread out in terms of pop culture. You've got the whole adrenaline-based lifestyle over there. They're associated with the fast muscle cars, obviously the whole family-based lifestyle, and just being out and about and like having the time of their life with the tequila shots, etc. These are all things that stand out from the Latino culture, and I think it's nice to have that representation into the game. In fact, when the trailer did drop in, a lot of people were saying that Octane was quite a racist character because him having a jump pad representing that he jumped over some borders, etc. And I'm not going to lie, the comment section was flooded in with some like stereotypical racist jokes like that. But I I think it's good to have that Latino characteristic in there. Like I said, he's by far one of the fun characters to use. His dialogue stand out over there, and plus he's got that good relationship when it comes to him and Lifeline. Like they bounce off each other as well. So yeah, definitely one of the fan favorites. Definitely one of my favorites, Octane. Right, guys. So next up, we have got the lovable scientist herself, Watson. And to be honest, I'm just going to clear it up straight away. She's French. She's obviously French. I mean, the accent, the backstory, everything has given it away in terms of Watson's background. And to be honest, right, guys, it's nice to have her on in terms of the overall backstory, because especially in the latest Lost Treasure storyline, definitely there seems to be a mutual respect between her and Caustic. She kind of gives Caustic that bit of that soft heart touch. And then I think also Crypto is kind of digging into her vibes as well. She's one of the fan favorites as well. Very useful member to have on the team. Although I hardly play as Watson, I definitely enjoy having her into in our team, just because of the defensive gameplay and tactic that she can have in there. And plus some of her dialogues is quite unique. She's coming across being that funny, innocent French girl, but obviously she's one of the smarter legends as well, as she's helped develop, in fact created the ring in the whole Apex Legends game. So definitely I can see Watson getting more and more storyline, more progressive backstory. Hopefully they might do an event based around Watson herself in the future. But like I said, it's one of the easier characters to get along with, and that is, she is representing the L1 France. But I probably said that wrong. Viva la France. Right, guys, so next up we have got the hacking expert himself, Crypto. Now, I'm just going to clear this one again straight away. He is obviously Korean, because pretty much you can Google him and it says Crypto is a Korean hacker. I didn't even have to guess that. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised that I didn't have to know much about it, given the fact that I've never really seen much Korean, I guess, people, not even in real life or even in the main pop culture. I don't think there has been many Korean characters in video gaming history. I don't know if you guys can point some out to me, like famous ones, but I like the whole identity that they're giving him as well, not only with his overall backstory when it came to his launch trailer, but then at the same time the fact that he incorporates Korean words into his dialect. I like the representation on the game. I think Apex is doing a brilliant job when it comes to representing people from different ethnic backgrounds into the overall game. So Crypto is pretty much covered when it comes to that area. There's not really much else to talk about. Again, he's not a character that I have used much, but he's very, very important when it comes to overall team play. There are some people who can play absolutely incredibly with him, that just able to use that drone for unique gameplay moments, and it's definitely worth checking out some of the footages on YouTube where people just make incredible plays with him. But like I said, Crypto definitely needs his own event, I would say, in the future. It'll be great to get a bit more of his backstory so we can carry on and see what happens to him. Right, guys, next up we have got the beauty queen herself, bringing in the style and swagger into the Apex games this season, Lobo. Now, a lot of people on the Reddit forum thread that I've read have been saying Lobo is from a Spanish background, because Lobo means wolves in Spanish. But Lobo also means wolf in Portuguese as well, which Portuguese and Spanish are very, very similar languages. But there's two things for me that stand out massively when it comes to Lobo. Well, let's just say three things stand out massively. I'm going to wink on that one. But anyway, guys, firstly, on her frames, she's got the carnival vibe to her. And then also there's a football theme base frame over there as well, which has got one of the characters over there wearing a Brazilian top. Now, in Brazil, the language they speak is in fact Portuguese as well. The other thing as well, guys, is one of her legendary skin suits does have her having the carnival whole theme to it, the purple outfit that she wears. And then you can say she's got one big asset, which you can say the butt lift does have a name given to it. That's right, I'm talking about a Brazilian butt lift. It is definitely, for me, standing out that she is Brazilian. I don't have a second doubt about that. So I'm not sure why a lot of people are confused online. But let me know what you guys think. For me, I'm pretty much dead set that Lobo is Brazilian. And I don't think anyone could change my mind on that. Like I said, with the name being Wolf in Portuguese as well, given the fact the whole theme and the outfit combination with her, and also her skin tone as well, I'm going to definitely say that she's Brazilian. Right, guys, so I'm on to my final two legends over here, and to be fair, I saved these two legends for last because they are kind of the more difficult ones to actually identify a nationality with. So firstly, we got Revenant over here, which is obviously a robot. He was formerly a human, but he's now a simulacrum. I probably said that wrong, but he's 313 years old by the time of the Apex Legends game. So he was alive beforehand, but he was part of the mercenary syndicate and the greatest hitman that they had. So they pretty much adapted him to live forever and have multiple versions of him. Now, when you look at Revenant, he's definitely got some of the legendary themes to do with the ancient Egyptian culture. So you got the Anubis sort of looking armor over there, and then you got Horus as well, two Egyptian gods to associate with not only death but war himself. So it gives him that theme. But also, if you look at one of his other legendary armors, he's got a more of a pagan look to him, a pagan demon god look to him, which by an ancient Britain time, the whole culture was to do with paganism, the religion following over there before the Roman invasion, before the introduction of Christianity, was to do with pagan culture. Now, that might be the whole element of death and theme himself, but if you look from the trailer, he's got blonde hair, he's got blue eyes, he's definitely got the stereotypical white Caucasian look to him as well. It's hard to identify with his accent then as well, but I guess you can say he's got the elements of an Egyptian culture in there. But if you are to pinpoint just because of the skin tone and the whole bad guy, again, the villainous theme look to him, he fits into that British look as well. So maybe he is British. Maybe I doubt he's Egyptian, but again, he's got that vibrant theme to him. It's very, very hard one to predict, guys. So I'm going to leave this one a bit open on the table, but for now, I'm more siding towards giving him the UK flag just because I think that works out a bit more to him as well. And finally, guys, we have got one of the funniest characters on the game. Everyone loves this fella. I don't know how you cannot love this fella. Pathfinder. Now, Pathfinder, again, he's a robot. He's unlike Revenant, he's definitely 100% a robot. He was built by a human. In fact, his whole backstory for him entering the Apex Legends game is so he can find his creator. And it was actually Mirage who recommended him entering the Apex Legendary game. So I think it's one of the more unique, fun backstories to have into the game. He's definitely the innocent character, and again, because of him being a robot, it's very, very hard to pinpoint a nationality to him. However, I think possibly he might be Saudi Arabian. Now, before all of you go, what the hell am I talking about? Well, I'm just referencing the fact that recently we have an AI robot who was given a nationality ship by Saudi Arabia, the first AI to ever receive a national citizenship. Now, that was probably done as a bit of a joke, a bit of a whole corporation propaganda sort of thing. But at the same time, you know what, Pathfinder, we will never know with him really. This one is completely opened up to speculations. I think you could say he's one of the characters that will never really can be given a nationality, and that's the whole reason I think Pathfinder is to be that anonymous figure. He's a robot. He's not. He's a genderless. He's just that fun character. Anyone can pick him up to news, and I think he's one of the more easier characters to adopt into the game. But yeah, Pathfinder, he's open to whatever you want him to be. Anyway, guys, that's everything all rounded up and dusted. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the content. Like I said, I've gone through every individual Apex Legend so far and their nationality. I've given some time and thoughts behind it, so if you do appreciate the video, then if you can hit that like button, because that does help a small time YouTuber like myself. It really does, and I'm always grateful and appreciative for anyone who gives me that support. And yeah, why not subscribe if you are new over here? I will probably do some more Apex videos in the future. The more I'm playing this game, the more I'm thinking maybe it's time to unload some Apex content. But let me know what you guys think. Like I said, like, subscribe, do all the fancy stuff. Comment below if you got any other things to say. It has been your guy DJ WakasHussainUK, and I'll see you all next time. Peace up.